keep reading comments about a two-string bass player in a band called Morphine, who I've never heard of, and today I'm going to be hearing them for the first time, checking out a track called Buena. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Rarely on the channel do I experience a band for the first time in a live setting, but the more I read about this band's style and details about their unusual instrumentation, I feel like it's imperative for me to experience it and see it firsthand. So I'm checking out a live in-studio version of their track Buena, which is originally from the band's second studio album, Cure for Pain, released in 1993. And one of the first things I read upon my research about this band is that lead vocalist Mark Sandman died of a heart attack on stage in Italy in the summer of 1999 at the age of 46. I mean, that's a hell of a way to go out, doing what he loved, I suppose. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Buena by Morphine.
I hear a voice in the back of the room. I hear a voice cry out.
Okay, I have a lot of questions that are answered just by seeing it. I'm kind of glad I did this because I'm thinking two-string bass. Is it like a really thin kind of sitar neck? Is it something custom made for him? But going back and actually seeing this now, I mean, he straight up took a four-string bass, left off two strings, and that's his jam. And, you know, I'm just like, would this warp the neck over time? Like, how does this kind of fare with the neck tension? And not to get into that too much, but this is the last way I expected to kind of see that implemented. And if it wasn't a sitar neck, I was thinking maybe it's like a four-string bass with a low E and then a high G, so he kind of had a bass note and more of a treble note, if you will. Sounds like we're down here in C minor. And, you know, I remember skimming over his use of a slide on bass, but I can kind of see it there. And I didn't even think about it until I read it in my notes here. Let me go back and kind of hear this intro. I get these kind of clean baritone guitar vibes. Then with this bari sax, this kind of bizarre harmony. Okay, so the two instruments there are basically making a power chord, which is what bassist Mark is doing here. He's just on fifths going between C, and of course he's tuned down. So you get this kind of thing, but this bari sax is over there kind of complementing it with an unusual parallel fifth harmony, which you don't hear a ton, but it just gives it this really kind of square interval relationship. And then you have the texture of the sax that really contrasts the tone of the bass. So you got the sax up here going. So basically his top string. And you know, this is just one big power chord, but it's such an interesting texture. This is very obscure and unusual to me. Let me keep it going a bit.
I hear a voice in the back of the room.
It's got this swagger to it.
I hear a voice cry out. You want something good? Well, come on a little closer by the front of the stage. Yeah, come on a little closer, I got something to say. Well, I'll say, come on a little closer, I wanna see your face. Yeah, come on a little closer, I got something to say, come on. Well, you see a little devil and Buena.
Up to the fourth chord.
And since I'm with the devil, I'm putting the same on now. And the feeling, I have to tell you, I think it's time for me to finally introduce you to the Buena, good, good, good.
This is something else. And you know what I like is that I'm kind of seeing two different roles happen with the bari sax here. You have one where he's complimenting what Mark Sandman is playing. He's actually being a harmony and just adding kind of a different texture. And then when he's singing and kind of this call and response when he's not singing, the sax goes off and completely contrasts everything with this sort of like ad-libbed tertiary melody in the background, just kind of filling in that space that's pretty abundant just as a three-piece. And, Mark is the only rhythm section contributor here melodically. So there's a lot of space as a trio, even more than most. And it's like, would you even call this a power trio? I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but it's really stripped down. And, one of the things I read is that they really appealed to the indie rock crowd, just due to the stripped down nature of their sound. So yeah, this is interesting. I almost want to kind of tune down. And so if this open string is G, he's doing those fifth. Let's just do this. Let's see. Yeah, so and he's got real easy access to just, it's almost like the drop D thing. You can play a power chord just with one finger. And I hear him putting that flat 5 in there, not overusing it to make it really bluesy, but every now and then I kind of hear that just little lean into the... I don't have a slide here. Every now and then there's a beer bottle left in here, which I could use, but I'm just going to have to fret it for today. This has like the Breaking Bad intro vibes. Almost has that timbre. Let's keep it going. I'm in his tuning now. I'm in his world. And just one quick comment about the drummer. I really like the feel. It's got this really kind of nimble, airy kind of composition to the parts, very kind of cymbal heavy, a little washy, which is perfect for, the sonic spectrum of what they're taking up, which is very little. I feel like the drums kind of just fill in with that washy character. And I'm kind of watching him play in the background. He's just kind of all into it. So I don't want to leave the drummer out, but let's keep it going. It's a pretty big bass sound, truly.
It's coming to me.
Love the dynamics back there.
Yeah, it's coming to me.
Okay, I can kind of really see that slide now.
Now I am.
Okay. Again, as I said, I did read about the slide. I saw it a bit in the intro, but now I can kind of really see it. And it looks like he's just, he's just coming up on, if I'm just go frame by frame here, he's not using the slide in like your typical country way. It almost seems like he's just going up a half step interval there. Yeah, from fret 2 kind of into 3. So it's interesting. I'm always, interested in the inception of how an artist got their sound, whether it be something gear related, the way they're delivering their art, whether it's vocally, a guitar style. It's like, how did they get there? And you read these things, especially in older eras where they really are just working with what they had. The Chris Squire thing. Well, the speaker was blown or whatever. Maybe I'm thinking of Geezer. Spinning in my mind right now, trying to think of examples. But one recent one that's particular is that you guys told me when I did New Order here on the channel is that Peter Hook was playing really high up on the bass with a heavy chorus effect because his amp sounded bad, and it was the only way for him to have his bass sound really cut through. And I like those kind of like an artist stumbled on their sound very organically out of utility almost. So what I'm wondering here is like, did the slide come first? Because he's got this kind of meandering croony vocal style, as I read about, and I'm trying to think who he reminds me of. It's a lot of different sounds, but nonetheless, he's kind of sliding in and out of the pitches, just almost behind the beat. And it's like, was his vocal style there to mirror what he was doing with the slide? Or was that his vocal style inherently, and the slide just kind of mirrors it? And I kind of like that stylistic, parallel between the way he's delivering his vocals and the way he's kind of sliding in and out of the notes. And it's a very subtle use of the slide. You think Billy Gibbons and Joe Walsh doing these huge octave slides, but he's just kind of going at one fret just to kind of almost imitate that fretless sound where you can kind of glissando into something. So I'm very interested just how he arrived at that style. Let's keep it going.
Think I know what it is you need.
Yeah, there's that flat 5.
I know some people, they wanna make you change.
And you have this sax kind of competing with it.
I know how to make them go away. You see a little different in Buena. And since I met the devil, I've been the same old road. And love feel
Oh, I'm tuned down. My bad. I didn't think about it.
I think it's time for me to finally
I think I just went. Sorry. That's funny.
introduce you to the Buena, good.
See, now the sax is taken over here, and it's like it's almost call and response. Maybe not in like little phrases, but just sections of the song. And the sax comes in and takes a whole different role than he was in the intro, kind of just being a texture to the main riff. I mean, you can really see the whole view of the bass here. Just it's kind of cool. He's got his thumb over here, but there's no strings to get in the way. I don't know. I'm just kind of enamored with. This is the last thing I expected when I thought 2-string bass. I mean, he just took a 4-string and made it a 2-string. Went in kind of a 5th tuning here. One of the most unique things I've seen: 2-string bass out of a 4-string. Got this kind of glassy, clean tone with a slide. Yeah. This takes the cake, I think. Most unique bass player I've seen in a long time. Wow. It's fun on the channel getting curveballs like this. You know, I haven't had a ton of requests for this song. I see one every now and then, but, you know, commenters are quick to mention the 2-string bass thing. And I just took this one out of intrigue. And I still don't even know what to make of their style. It's kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different things. You know, I even read the term low rock that the band sort of coined about their sound. But it's just very imaginative, innovative instrumentation. And again, the more I read about it prior to watching this, I was like, I just got to see this, because the more I read, the less it makes sense. But apparently this is their most popular song, and just curious about the breadth of their sound, if it's really kind of exploring these unusual instrumental kind of soundscapes. All very interesting. I think I like the ingenuity behind, you know, the mirroring of the inflection of the bass riff with the slide and kind of the way he's singing it. They almost seem like just one instrument with the way they are articulated. And, you know, in a weird way, the bari sax almost kind of reminded me of the guitar player in Primus, where every now and then he'll be there to support the composition, but most of the time he's kind of got this, you know, just meandering solo figure that's not in the forefront, but it's just kind of taking up that middle space in the composition. It really reminded me of that, just the approach of his parts. And as I said, the drums really held it all together. Very tasteful, kind of jazzy chops. A lot of that washy cymbal work that was just filling in kind of the airy middle space of the composition. But yeah, I'm glad I chose a live version. It was really cool to kind of see this in action. So Morphine, Buena, there you have it. Come find us on Patreon, where I do full album reactions and have a ton of lesson content for bass and music. And while you're here, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. I love you all. Thanks for hanging out again. We'll see you next time.